So, I haven't posted a YouTube video in a while, and it's because I've been sort of trying to do keto, but it's gonna be like not entirely keto because obviously you're not always in an environment where keto things are accessible, or you slip up and have mistakes throughout the day, right? Like I had Taco Bell today, but I know what the nutrition facts are, I know what the caloric intake was, and everything like that. It wasn't horrible, right? So, it's not great, but that's the first time I've had Taco Bell in a while. And the only reason I had Burger King like a week or so ago was because my brother was like, "Hey, let's go get Burger King." Didn't actually want to do it myself. Anyways, I'm down to 320. I was like 330, 328, 327, something around there. I got down to 317. Then the whole Burger King thing happened, and I went back up to 323 or something like that, and now I'm back to 320. I'm trying to lose the weight in a way that's sustainable and not overly quick, and that my body can adjust to. And aside from eating more protein and trying to eat less carbohydrates and less sugars, I'm also trying you know, to eat less calorically, because I was probably eating 3 to 4,000 calories a day without even thinking or trying to. I'm also getting rid of carbs and sugars because I am trying to cut out candy bars and ice creams and things like that out of my diet completely. Because I know I've probably used the phrase food addict before, or food addiction, or bad relationship with food in past videos. If I haven't, then I filmed them and never uploaded them. But you're looking at somebody that I would be at work. I would already be drinking a Mountain Dew, which 77 sugars there, 77 grams of sugar, or I'd be drinking in Arizona, which Arizona has carbs or sugars in it, but it's not as like sickly sweet as Mountain Dew is. Like this is a sugar-free Mountain Dew, and it's a medium because I went to Taco Bell today, and I'm trying to like drink less stuff like that. I usually don't like sugar-free stuff. This isn't horrible. It has an aftertaste, but it's not horrible. Um, I've also started drinking the Core Powers that have protein in them. Um, and I'm trying keto here and there, but it's going to be like off-brand keto where it's not straight keto, it's just my effort to improve my diet. But as I was saying, you're looking at somebody who would, as I'm already drinking a sugary fucking drink at work, I would go to the vending machine and get 2 damn candy bars out of it. And I would eat both of those before I left work. And then sometimes I would stop at the Minute Mart or Sheetz to get a king size candy bar of some other kind, a Snickers or Reese's, whatever, and I would eat that. And then I would come home, and later on that night, I would end up taking spoonfuls of Nutella or some other snack or crap that I did not need. I not only had like a food addiction and a bad relationship with food in general, but I had a sugar addiction. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm completely over it because my brain is still trying to be like, hey, we want sugar. So I'm trying to find things that imitate the flavor of sugar to trick my psychological part of my brain to being like, oh, we had something. And these Core Powers, the chocolate ones, that are the lower is the 26 grams of protein, the higher is the 42. They give me protein, and there's a little bit of carbs in them, but it's not horrible. I also think they have a little bit of dietary fiber in them, but they taste like chocolate milk, but they also are filling because of the protein. And it curbs my cravings, and it also lies to my brain and tells my brain, hey, you had chocolate, shut up. And for the most part, it works. And what happened was, a couple weeks ago, I had, I can't think of what it's called. It's a stomach bug, basically. And then I had a cold after that. But what I noticed is after I had this stomach bug, I wasn't craving sugar. Like the last thing I wanted to fucking eat was sugary sweet shit. And as I said, I'm still having those little like inklings, but it's not as bad as it was. Um and I want to keep it that way. Also, I got to a point when I was on Weight Watchers where I couldn't even eat more than one Reese's cup because it was too sweet for me. I want to get to a point where I don't want any of it. And you know how everyone tells you don't deprive yourself? Deprive yourself. If you know you can eat like a little bit of something and not like want it again and again and again, good for you. I'm happy for you. But if you're like me and you know that if you have a little bit of a chocolate bar, you're going to slowly keep going back to the fridge and breaking off a piece and eating it. Because why not? No one's here to stop you, you know what I mean? Like, I live alone and there's no one here to be like, hey, are you getting more chocolate? And I shouldn't have to have somebody here to tell me that, first of all. I know that I should have the control and obedience to not do it. And there are snacks on my counter right now that I haven't touched for weeks. Like, I bought a bag of those mini Reese's cups. And honestly, Reese's taste fucking disgusting to me anymore. I don't think they're made like they used to be, but I also just think I'm losing my taste for things. And I would love to lose my taste for everything that's unhealthy and bad for me. Because when people tell you don't deprive yourself, they're always talking about, like, oh, you can have a little bit of ice cream, you can have a little bit of chocolate, you can have a french fry, you can have a pizza, you can have whatever. Don't deprive yourself. Well, I don't really need to eat pizza. It's basically an entire loaf of bread stretched out with tomato sauce, which is probably loaded in carbs, cheese, which is really fat, but cheese is the only thing really keto. Pepperonis are keto, but you get the idea. But carbs break down to sugars. And when you really start to study most of the American diet, and even if you don't study it that in depth, like, there's so many carbs in things. There just is. Like, these are cough drops. And I can't see that part of the label, but anyways. I'm trying to find something near me that has carbs in it, but there's nothing really near me. But, like, if you really start to look at the things that are marketed as completely normal to eat in America, the amount of carbs is staggering. The amount of sugars in a lot of things, even stuff that's savory, is staggering. The amount of things that have these, like, borderline toxic levels, because eventually, if you eat enough carbs, it's, like, bad for you. It makes you tired, and it makes you, like, have, like, a, sugar high or a sugar rush because your body processes it, and then you have a crash. At least that's what happens to me. Like, I hate Taco Bell, and, yeah. But I am trying to cut a lot of things that, let's be honest, I overindulged in anyway, so I've had my fair share already throughout my life of the sweet things, and the sugary shit, and the chocolate shit, and, like, I also am so big that I need to lose an entire person to be a weight that I'm supposed to be. I'm 320 right now, and if I lost 120 pounds, I'd be down to 200. I would still be considered overweight, if not obese. I don't know if 200's obese or just overweight for my height. I'm 5'9". But I know that it's not good either way, and I want to remind her, like, I want to state that the lowest I've ever been in my adult life is 222, and I was like 19 or 20. I slowly crept back up, and I went on Weight Watchers when I was 19 because my mom took me to a doctor's appointment, and I weighed 296, and that was when we were both like, oh crap. So I went on Weight Watchers, and I started eating salads and drinking water, and not as much tea, and not as much sugary stuff, and not as much, like... And I got to a point with Weight Watchers where it was like my body was stuck and wouldn't adjust to the new points level that I was on, because if you don't know how Weight Watchers works, and this is how it worked when I was on it, I don't know how they do it now, I'm assuming it's still a point system, but you would use you would use the calories versus fat versus fiber versus, I think that was it, to figure out how many points something was. And I had, I believe, 36 or 35 points throughout the day that I could use. And I'll give you an example. Like, most vegetables were free. I think eggs were like 2 or 3 points. But then a pack of ramen would be 8 points for the whole thing. So a lot of foods that you wouldn't think would be high in points were. And so I got down to 222, and it was like my stomach would be audibly growling. Like, if you were in, like, across the room from me, you would hear my stomach growling. My stomach would be empty, and it wouldn't be painful, but I could feel that there was nothing in it. And I would sit there in the emptiness of my stomach and be like, well, this is awesome, because in my mind, and again, this is also disordered eating and disordered behavior, if my stomach is empty, in my mind, I was thinking, well, at least there's nothing in there that my body can turn into boiling, disgusting fat. So I would be content starving myself and just chugging bottle after bottle of water to shut my stomach up. But also because I didn't want to always be using the extra 5 points that they gave you if you needed them. And I got to a point where I went and I weighed myself, and I was like 222, and I told myself, well, I'm going to go on, like, a run or whatever. And I didn't run, I, like, jogged, and then I'd walk for a little bit, and then jog and walk for a little bit. And it was kind of sprinkling that morning. And I came back, and I said, if I didn't lose anything, I'm not going to eat this Hot Pocket that I had already put in the microwave. And I go and weigh myself, and I was still at 222, so I slammed the microwave shut, and I went upstairs, and I don't know exactly how I reached the conclusion that I was done, but somehow I got to the conclusion that this wasn't for me, it wasn't going to work, my body wasn't doing what it was supposed to do, because I had assumed that my body would just naturally adjust to me eating less, or naturally adjust to me not having as much in my body. And it seemed like my body wasn't. Because why would I be hungry whenever I've already eaten Lord knows how much and used all my points for the day, and you're going to tell me I'm hungry? Like, I didn't just have a bowl of cereal, or I didn't just have an entire salad from Subway, like. And also another thing I noticed when I was on Weight Watchers was, like, halfway through, and I wouldn't even say that I necessarily felt full, but halfway through, I would, like, just look at my food and all of a sudden be like, I don't need that. And I would just, like, push it away. It was almost like I got depressed in the middle of eating and was like, yeah, fuck that. Like, I would lose my appetite and lose interest in it and just push it and be like, I'm done. And I've gotten to that point now, but it's more so me looking at the food and going, I feel a little full. Not gluttonously stuffed to where I feel like I can't move, but I feel a little full, and I don't really need any more of this food. So then I'll stop. But, like, it was almost like, even though I had lost weight and that was what my ultimate goal was, I wanted to, like, I was depressed. Because not only was I losing weight because I wanted to be smaller and I wanted to fit into smaller clothes, but I got excited when I could see the bones of my wrists more and when I could feel my collarbones more. Like, it was this weird thing where I was like, oh, I'm actually starting to look like, a certain way. And I wasn't even down that far. Like I said, I was 222. And that's a lot of weight to lose from 296. It is. But it was like my body was refusing to adjust to the smaller amount of food or whatever. It was like my body was genuinely hungry because, oh, I don't want you to lose weight. I want to genuinely keep fucking eating this amount of food instead of going down to this next amount. And I don't know why. And then there were other times where I tried to lose weight independently of Weight Watchers, and I was cutting my calories back from, mind you, as I said, I was probably eating 3 to 4,000 calories a day without really thinking about it. And so I would cut back from that to 1,800 calories or 1,600, and it was an extreme deficit. And I know that if you're starving, your body won't let you lose weight because it thinks you're in starvation mode, like survival mode or whatever. But at that point, I was like 270, and I went back down to like 260 something, and then I gained it again. Like throughout all the shit in my life, I just slowly started gaining everything back, and then I, obviously gained more because I didn't stop at 296. I'm at 320 now. And I don't want to be heavy anymore. That's the truth. Not because of vanity and not because of what other people say to me, but because I just know this is not good for me. This is not good. It's not healthy. It's not right. And at the same time, I want to do it in a way that I don't hate my options as far as what I can eat. And, I have realistic boundaries. And it makes sense in my head. So it's easier to reinforce. But this is why I say when people tell you don't deprive yourself, tell them, no, you don't understand. I have to. Now, if you're one of these people that, like, let's say someone makes an entire pan of bacon, but you're on a diet where it doesn't allow you to have bacon, but 1 or 2 pieces isn't going to hurt you. And that person says take as much as you like, but you would take 2 and you would stop. You wouldn't keep walking past the plate eating pieces. You wouldn't sit down and have, half the plate to yourself. You would have those 2 pieces and then you'd go do something else, or you just sit there and talk to them while they ate it. You know what I mean? I'm the kind of person that I would be eating at least 8 pieces of that bacon before it was all said and done. And it would ruin my diet. Because it would, whatever diet I was trying to, which I'm pretty sure bacon's keto. Anyways, but there are diets that don't allow you to have bacon because of the amount of cholesterol and fat and stuff that's in it. But some people, me included, need to deprive ourselves because we can't have a little bit of a good thing. Our body tells us, you need to have more of that. It was good, go get more. And because your brain ultimately rules everything, your brain can convince the rest of your body. It would be so easy to give into that. It's so much easier to give into that than to not do it. And sorry, I kind of dozed off there. I'm like sleepy. I don't know why. But yeah, I don't know. I just want to make better choices. And I want to see where it goes. But I also want to lose it the right way to where it's not dangerous. And I want to, I don't know. My brain's kind of like, today. But anyways, thank you for watching. I hope that this made sense. I hope that any of this made sense. I appreciate you as a subscriber, and have a wonderful, beautiful, healthy day. And yes, I know the angle was weird, but I don't have a tripod. I don't have a real camera even. This is my phone. Have a great day.